Welcome back to Straight Talk with Dr. V and Mr. P. How are you doing today, Mr. P?
I'm doing great, Dr. B. How are you?
I am swell.
Swell as usual, Dr.
That's
B.
right, baby. That's right.
That swell is a beautiful thing to hear, Dr. B.
Yes. Good to be amongst the living once more again. Thank God.
I know. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's
yes,
a beautiful.
It is. Yes,
it's spring now, right?
It's spring. It is considered spring. Yes.
A beautiful spring day here in the good old
ATL,
Georgia. Mm-hmm. Shout out to y'all who at church who went to, what was it, last week? That was Easter?
Yeah, last Easter.
Happy belated Easter
Sunday. Yes.
Hopefully you guys, did great on your Easter speech.
Yes, please.
Hopefully you didn't mess up your Easter speech. So
my thing is, I want y'all to continue to know that Jesus is alive. We just don't worship him on Easter. That you're continuing throughout the year, thanking God for what he has made available unto us, which is grace and salvation.
Yeah,
life more abundantly.
Amen. If you believe Tupac alive, why can't you think that Christ himself is alive? I'm just saying, Dr. B.
I ain't even gonna respond to that, y'all.
B, I'm just that people believe Tupac alive, so I'm just saying what is so unbelievable to believe that he has risen, Dr. B.
I'm not saying the word.
Oh. So how was your week, Dr. B?
It was busy, fine. Still, we're getting everything finalized for our family reunion.
Okay.
Getting things done. School is winding up, getting ready to be out for the summer. So it's just been hustle and bustle this week, which is a good thing. I love being busy. I don't like idleness. So I've had a productive and busy week. What about yourself?
Yeah, I guess pretty much the same. Work. As it is, what is this class toward the end of the month? Got a lot of deliverables and stuff like that.
Okay.
So just trucking along, nothing too out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the end of the school year.
I know you are.
Or the semester for me.
Uh-huh.
So I got I think I got another 3-4 weeks for this particular class, and we'll start another one. But
okay.
I usually probably I say at least for a month or a month and a half into any class that I've ever taken, I'm like so over it. I'm over it.
I know.
I'm like, I'll be glad when this class is over. So
I know.
Some more than others.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But you know what? We ended our week on a great note. We went outside, y'all.
Yeah, we were outside. We all met up for dinner. Met some of our good friends for dinner. And it was a fabulous time.
It was. And y'all outside. I mean, y'all people was outside.
Packed. Yes, y'all
outside.
was.
Y'all been outside. I mean,
we ain't been outside.
No,
so
we was
sitting there people watching.
Yeah,
we had finished eating.
It was a nice little, I mean, outside. When I say outside, y'all people in Atlanta, it's outside.
Outside. And still was coming in.
Oh, yeah. When we was leaving, they was still coming.
And the place was getting ready to close in what? An hour and a half or so?
Well, I guess about 2, but I guess the party don't stop, Dr. B.
I guess not. I guess not. But we had an enjoyable time.
Yeah.
Loved the conversation and fellowship. Yeah. Saw some gorgeous women.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you, Dr. B. And we talked about it at the table a little bit. There was a ton of women.
Mm-hmm.
Groups of women by themselves, and they just typically move like that, I guess, particularly in Atlanta,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the men who were there, if they wasn't with somebody, it was a lot of men just kind of hanging around, because the place that we went to is a restaurant / I guess lounge / and they have a cigar bar,
everything /
Yeah, so at a certain point, everything started to transition. It was great. They have a DJ.
A live
DJ. So the music was pumping the whole time we was there, and then at a certain point you can kind of see it really transitioning from more people. Yes. And they had a whole full bar. We ain't gonna shout their name out because they ain't paying us. But I would go back.
The food was good. They ain't paying us either.
The food was good. Drinks were good. And like I said, the crowd. Walking in, and we haven't been outside a long time.
No.
They was checking your ID, and we got our reservation what, 8:30?
8:30.
So 8:30, they taking IDs at 8:30.
Yes.
I mean, they keeping y'all young folks out, y'all young riffraff who don't know how to act. they keeping y'all from the y'all can't even come in for dinner at 8:30. You know what I mean? So it's like I understand though, Dr. V. Now that I see that the crowd and it was,
it was a mixture of people.
It was a mixture of people.
It still wasn't our age, which was surprising to me.
Some of them dudes was old heads. Them dudes walking around.
Trying to get them young
tenders. You remember the dude looking in our area? Yeah. And so it was some old heads around there. And like I said, there was some pack of women. There was some body morphing going. Some
a lot of that.
Build the bodies up in there.
Yeah.
Then you
some of them didn't need to build that butt.
Well, you could tell. You could kind of tell, Doctor. You could tell the real versus the natural. At least I could.
Yeah, you could tell. Yeah, you could tell.
And then it was funny because the ones who had built their bodies, they were in a group together.
Yeah.
They like birds of a feather, kind of.
Yeah.
Butts of a feather.
Yeah.
Hung together.
And some friends that was in that group should have told some of them that butt just didn't.
But the whole table, Dr. V, wouldn't
not the whole table. It was some of them. Some of the booties was okay, but some of them was like, "Come on, girl."
They would build the bodies, Dr. V. But I'm just saying, do you, boo? Do you, boo? I ain't mad at you.
I just hope that you are, good, feeling good about yourself from within, and you're not depending on the outside.
Well, I'm telling you, and then you remember the one she had. She had the drawers on, Dr. V, with the see-through. And trust me,
my God.
For those who out there who know me personally, my wife was there, and so it wasn't a me eyeballing nobody. I'm just saying it was an interesting.
First of all, I commend you if you have the body to wear it, but it was more lingerie. Yeah. I mean, it was a sheared.
The whole outfit was
sheer that you could see straight through, and she had the bodysuit on under it.
Oh, okay.
So that was what it was about.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. But it looks like she had underwear, but it was So I don't understand what makes us think. I understand. That's why I said it wasn't our group.
But they were playing our music, Dr. V. It was for the most part.
They were playing the music, but I just want some of us to think about, please go walk past that mirror and, see what we're displaying before others, because some of us are mothers, aunts, your role models. And, if you got the body, flaunt that with your husband in the privacy of your home. That's just me. I can only speak for me. Mr. P can speak for himself.
Well, I think the person who was winning were the natural people, because you remember the old girl with the plaid on, the full bodysuit?
The Burberry.
Yeah, the Burberry. She was what they say, thick.
And jiggling.
Yeah, but she looked all natural.
She was all natural.
She was all natural.
She was walking. She made sure she let everyone know, y'all paid for y'all. I was born with this. My mama gave me this.
So, but it was a good night, good entertaining.
It was catching up with our friends that we hadn't seen since February.
Yeah. Everybody. It seemed to be like a place I hadn't know of that type of place, but it seemed like to be the place to do. There was basketball players in there, and groupies, because
at their table.
I ain't gonna, the Hawks and the Heat played
so
Friday night. Shout out to the Hawks. Heat thought y'all was gonna come in here and lay it down. Hawks pulled out that win on Friday. They're gonna pull it out again tonight and go back down to the Miami, tied 2-2.
Okay.
Shout out to the Hawks. So
go Hawks.
There were some basketball players in there, and we were sitting at.
We were kind of in like a private
area. Like a private area, and this group of they were young
Mediterranean women, gorgeous. I'm just going to call it like they were gorgeous.
They were young, and they came, and there was a table for like 20, and they came as a group together, and they seemed to know each other, right? For the most part.
For the most part,
they sat there at this table, mostly empty, for about an hour at least.
Yes, they did.
At least an hour. And then maybe an hour or so later, the actual baller came in. I ain't gonna say his name, but he played for a team, not the Hawks.
The earrings was bling.
Yeah, so he came in and was like, "Oh, that's what y'all wait for." Because it's funny, Dr. B.
But wait a minute, they didn't
What?
believe me. Mr. P them didn't believe me. I said, no. When the first person walked in, I said, that's an NBA player. I said, that boy's too tall. They waiting on some players to come on through here. And they didn't believe me until one of them walked through the door and they was like, you were right. I said, see, you got to believe me. These women were not standing over here sitting at no tables, ordering all these drinks and doing their hookah.
Yeah, they doing that hookah.
And they were getting ready.
They had their cameras up. They doing all like this.
Yes.
I'm like, where the rest of the party at? Y'all okay?
They had to get to the hotel, had to take their shower and do what needed to be done and come on through.
Come on through.
Yeah. And but the girls weren't budging.
It was funny when he came in, or because he came in with a group of guys. And I think it was another lady, so it was a group of them. And he just politely shook his hand and went and sat down at the other end. Didn't pay no attention to none of it.
Then another new group came in who did sit down there.
Oh, yeah, they did. That's right, they did. So I was like, this is an interesting dynamic.
They don't care.
I know. I guess that's what we do. That's the baller lifestyle.
That's the baller lifestyle.
Somebody come in, bring them with and say, "Hey, such and such gonna be here. Y'all follow through." And then I guess we left before they did, but at the end of the night, I guess they picking and choosing. He had to pick any, mini, miny, mo.
Guess who's going home with Mo?
I guess so. I'm like, okay, baller lifestyle. All right, baller. Yeah. So, but shout out. We had a great evening.
Yeah, we did.
Nice establishment. I would go back. Like I said, I did. Even though when you get I got caught off guard. Or we did caught off guard because we're not used to that. But I guess that's the thing to do now when they checking the ID when you walk in. And it's like, so. But again, I understand it because
before you come in the door, they're patting you down too.
Yeah, they got two police officers / security guard out there. So I guess they got the valet, and so like I said, it's a nice little spot up there. It is. And they kept seeming to keep the crowd mellow. Y'all young folks don't know how to party. But let's talk
about the type of waitresses. It was a type.
I think it had something to do with the restaurant too, because the restaurant is like, is it Russian?
It's Russian, but it's still Mediterranean.
It says Mediterranean. Okay, so a lot of the waitresses, there were some other ones in there, but a lot of the waitresses were like that. I think our waitress, she said she's from Morocco. Okay, she's from Morocco, so that olive skin, dark
looking like hair. Let me just say, because he just skirting all around. They had the Kardashian look.
Oh, I didn't see that, but
yes,
they didn't have a Kardashian body.
They had the Kardashian.
They look natural though. They were natural. You think they was?
Botox can make you look natural too.
I ain't looking at their face, Dr. B. I'm just saying. Okay, they might. Dr. B says they
because one of our friends was the one who brought it to our attention. It's like it's a type up in here.
Yeah, but they're young too. Yeah, they were younger too. So
it was a Kardashian vibe. They were.
But it was mostly us in there.
Yeah,
there was a couple
maybe like 2% Caucasian.
Yeah, maybe 2%. Then you had I seen some other in there.
Ethnicities
up in there too, but mostly us. It was, trust me.
Okay.
But they were. The service was good. The manager even came and asked us if we want to move to a bigger spot, and we're like, no, we good.
We're good. Because I like being in the private room, and we weren't on top of nobody. It was good.
And they apparently they want you to chill there. They weren't in a rush to do nothing.
They weren't in a rush because when that bill came, we saw.
Well, I'm just saying, it wasn't in a rush. When we got in there, we got the drinks, we got that started, and then appetizers, and then
main
you just
course,
casual. And then sometimes, when you finish eating, they'll come and drop the bill on there. No. They stop by. You need another drink, or you want this, and so it's like, okay, so this is the post up spot. So this is the
post up spot.
You post up,
where they want you to spend your money in there because they make sure the music is good. They make sure they have the hookah, they have the cigar, they have the food, they have the drinks, they have everything in the atmosphere.
As the young folks say, it's a vibe. They got the vibe.
Everything that you need. So they want you to spend your money and your dollars right there.
Yeah. So
because most of the time people go eat dinner and then they hit a club or they hit somewhere else. No, this is it. They want you to stay there and enjoy it because they're open till like 2 a.m.
Yeah, and that's early. considering what it used to be back in
Yeah.
the day, you know,
About
in the
4 or
8,
5 o'clock
4
in
or
the
5
morning.
o'clock. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
2 you just be getting
Yeah,
started.
they
But I guess, you know, the
Ray
people,
Lewis came and changed all of that dynamics
but
after
they
that
probably
incident.
pre-game there, or you know, get it turned up and then go on to somewhere
Right.
else. Probably
Mhm.
one of the shoe shows somewhere
Yeah.
like that. That would I would
So-
think, because 2 o'clock. Because again, a lot of the people, even the baller, they didn't get there till
They didn't
late.
get there till about after 11 o'clock.
So I'm thinking that they're gonna, you know, do what they do and go on to the next spot.
Yeah.
So, but it was cool.
It was cool. Yeah.
Went
So,
outside, had a good time outside, and come on back to the house.
come on in. We old folks, come on
Yeah,
in.
come on back in and get back to the house and let y'all young folks have
Have
the rest of
it.
it. Yeah, y'all can have it.
Yeah.
Y'all can have it. So that was a great weekend.
Yes.
Since the world out open again, we're gonna get back out there,
We're going to get back out there and do some things.
right?
Yes.
So let's get it. A lot been going on this week.
Yes,
Dr.
it
V.
has. Some sad stuff. You want to start with the sad and let's end with the good?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, still sad about Dwayne Haskins, but come to find out,
Yes.
he ran out of gas on the side of the highway, and he
Yeah.
apparently that was the reason why he was walking on the highway, and no one still knows why he attempted to cross the lane or what he was thinking. And then
because my thing is, why didn't he call AAA? Was he headed to practice?
No, it was 6 a.m, 6 a.m.
Mhm.
Maybe he was. I don't know. And say he was on the phone with his wife.
Okay.
When it happened, and she couldn't get him again. So I don't know. It's sad all around, and
it really is.
It's like a cautionary tale, and hopefully a lesson to people. It's something simple as running out of gas.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's like the gas price is so high. Even though he makes a lot of money, he probably like ain't on a rush to go drop $100
on the gas tank,
the gas tank.
Us.
So he's pulling.
Yeah.
But at some point, I guess when you're young like that, you don't think stuff like that. But me, I'm not trying to stop on the side of the road, so I'm gonna be
right.
I'm gonna be more cautionary.
It could have been that he picked the wrong car, and he thought that maybe that car had gas, and
I don't know. Not too many cars, and I'm assuming it could have been a hoopty, but most cars nowadays they give you an indication of. They warn like your car pop up and say,
"Yes,
you ain't got about 50 miles left. You need me to find a gas station." So most cars today will give you an indication that your fuel is low, and then maybe I know back in the day somebody pushed it. Trying to get to the house, but depending on how far you got to go, I'm pretty sure in his mind he thought he could make it, but this is probably not the first time that he's pushed it.
And then too, the next question that I have: why he just couldn't just turn around and walk back from the way he came instead of crossing over?
I don't know. It's too many questions, Dr. V. We don't know. We never know. And then unfortunately, what's another sad aspect of it is his parents are not attending his funeral because they didn't want that to be the first time that they met his wife. So they've never met his wife.
Are you serious?
Yes, they never met his wife. So I don't know all the dynamics behind it.
Did they get married during the pandemic that they didn't want to,
No, apparently there has been some history with the wife. I'm going to say allegedly. There was an incident where the wife physically assaulted him or busted his lip, and the police was called. And so there was some history of contention between him and his male wife, and maybe the parents wouldn't approve of that or didn't like that or didn't like that fact. But apparently the parents had never met his wife. Maybe they didn't know that she was married.
Right.
So I don't know. So that's a point of contention. And then we do know that once that those vows are said, the wife has, she has the power over what happens from that point. So I think it's just so much. And then, so hopefully.
I hope he had his, because when you're that young, you don't think about wills. You don't think about, planning for your death. You're planning for a future.
Yeah.
So I just hope that it doesn't get too messy, when it comes to, handle the estate of his affairs.
Yeah. And then again, we don't know why they would do that. We will hope that they could have worked it out. And we always think you got more time to fix stuff or to fix relationships.
Right.
And you just never know, something like that. Right. And so that might be a regret that, his family holds, or his parents might have to hold on them, because they've probably been with him. I know they've been with him through so much and going to
Yes.
school and stuff like that. And so,
Mm.
just prayers to his family, and hopefully they
Yes.
can come to
Yes. Pray
some,
for
yeah,
healing there.
yeah, and some,
Healing, mending some broken hearts.
yeah, some real
Yes.
stuff that's going on out there.
Yes.
Also, let me see here. A lot of violence has been going on.
Gun
Dr. V.
violence.
I mean, we live in a violent country. Let's just call it what it is.
It is what it is. We know.
We're become so much so that we're becoming desensitized toward it. You know, there was a here locally, there was an 11-year-old kid shot at Golden Glide skating ring, which is in our neighborhood. Both of us are very familiar with. My daughters have gone to that when they were younger, many times ago.
I had to take my sister and brother to roller skate there, and I didn't know how to roller skate, so I was like the babysitter, so I had to watch over them and take them right to Golden Glide.
Yeah, so it's, and unfortunately, it's had a history of violence, more and more lately than in the past, because again, the nature of the kids who are coming there are different than when my daughter was probably going there. But there were some incidents, but usually it'd be a little bit more fighting
you want gun violence.
Yeah, but now it's even escalated, and a lot of misinformation is going around. Like a lot of people thinking that it was 1 o'clock in the morning that the kid was there, and it was really like 11. And then for those who are familiar with it, you know, they used to have like certain nights that the young kids go, and they used to do like bubble parties or foam parties or whatever.
And it was like a theme night for everything.
Yeah, so like that, it was a spring break. And sadly, the kid, 11-year-old dad, was outside waiting for him. So apparently, allegedly, this is this information. We don't know all the details. Something happened within the skating ring between two kids or whatever. And then, and a 13-year-old has been arrested.
Yes.
Has been the gunman. And something happened where this 13-year-old targeted this 11-year-old. And these are all allegations, and it's still been working out. But the sheer fact that this 11-year-old and this 13-year-old involved in something related to gun, or the kid got shot.
Yes.
It's crazy. I mean, it's sad.
You know, that children feel that they have to respond with gun violence to resolve issues. I'm all for, you know, the rights to bear arms, but it needs to be in the hands of a responsible adult.
Yeah.
And so we've got to do better with some of the laws. Not saying we want to restrict you or take your guns away. We want to protect those who have no possible need to have a gun, like children, teens. They don't need it. They're irresponsible. They're not responsible for that type of, you know, responsibility.
Yeah.
And so we need to some kind of way work within our local government to make things happen, to kind of subside all of this gun violence among our young people. Because back in the day, Pete, you know, we didn't bring guns. You had to fight.
You had to fight.
With these two. Yeah. These two this was your weapon.
Yeah, but that concept is long gone.
We need to go back to that. If you want to do that. You know,
they can't. But let's talk about the adults again, because again, that's my thing. If you own a gun, and you're a licensed, even if you're a gun owner, it's your responsibility to make sure that weapon does not fall in the hands of anyone who shouldn't have access to it. You know what I mean? Like your children, nieces, your nephew, anybody around you. You should make sure that gun is secured and you know where that gun is at all times. Right. It shouldn't be access or easily accessible for that, and you know, and I am a gun owner, Dr. V. So you know, I make sure that I keep a eye or a clock on, you know, what's going on, with my pistolas. So you know, So you know, I make sure that my kids understand, and anyone around understands. So, but I am very conscious of that, making sure that, you know, that I'm a responsible gun owner.
Yes.
And I think everybody should do that. I mean,
everybody.
The minimum you need that for yourself, because that would be my greatest fear. I could never forgive myself for allowing a child to have easily access and to hurt themselves
to
or
hurt
hurt someone
themselves
else
or
because
someone else.
I was careless.
Yes,
Because
definitely.
I was careless. I was just
Mhm.
cavalier about it, just leaving it here or
Mhm.
leaving it somewhere where a kid can grab it or take it and
Right,
sneak it and
right,
boom back.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, that's on. I think that these people, do have a major responsibility and should be held accountable.
Yeah, definitely,
Because again, a
definitely.
13-year-old can't go into any location and legally buy a gun.
Exactly.
And if somebody's selling something or giving a minor or 13-year-old access
Need
to
to
a
be
gun,
held
then they need to be held
responsible.
responsible for what that 13-year-old
Definitely,
or
definitely.
that minor does with that weapon.
Definitely, because it makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It doesn't, and now this baby is in an induced coma,
Yeah.
Having to fight for his life, and the doctors don't know because they're going on a day-by-day basis with his health condition.
Yeah, and the 13-year-old or the kid, we don't know what his mindset is or his environment or whatever's going on.
And I feel bad for him as well. I really
so
do. It's both.
It's
both, because if they try him as an adult, that's a baby taken. He's still a child too.
13-year-old.
And he's having to face reality this quick.
Right.
We've got to teach our babies, no matter what someone says to you, don't resort to getting a gun, shooting someone. Please don't.
It's
come on, let's talk about it. Let's go through some anger management. And then sometimes I don't want to go too far, but y'all know I'm spiritual. Sometimes we need to sit and talk to families. What's going on in the household with mommy and daddy? What's that conversation looking like? Are y'all going at each other? Are you putting your hands on someone? So just, generational. We need to talk about it.
Yeah. So we hopefully, again, everybody's being responsible adults, responsible gun owners. Because again, when it's a minor, it's meaning that someone has been irresponsible with securing their weapons, even like these school shootings. Most of the times, the kids get the weapons from the parents, or the parents aren't responsible or keeping the track of that. So it's not these kids just doing it themselves. Yeah, they're irrational. We know how when you were young, our mindset, we're not responsible enough, or we're not developed enough to deal with conflict and things like that. So kids act rationally, and if they have access to something they can do major damage with it, it's a recipe for disaster.
Disaster.
Yeah. Shout out for that. And then we had a USC commit get shot 10 times. So it's just, and unfortunately, my daughter, she's down in Southern, and she's been luckily, no one that she knows directly, but there's been incidents of gun violence around her. And college, the college kids can't really hang out. Go to a house party, go to a club before somebody pulls out.
Oh my God, it's sad that it has come to this. Yeah. When we send our children to college, we send them to high school, elementary, middle, wherever, we don't anticipate that our children will go and get hurt or won't make it home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now I pray over my kids. It's like, Lord, keep them covered with the blood, because you never know. Once they leave the house, you out there, and you don't know, you can't be responsible for somebody else that's going to be out here committing a crime. And so it's just something, how we could go to school. Our kids can't even go to school to learn peacefully and get their education in fear of someone may have brought a gun, in fear of what somebody may be plotting to kill other students, or going to the house parties, or of thus forth. You just don't know. And so that's why, power of prayer. You got to pray over your kids now, y'all. Pray over them whenever they're walking out the house, going to school. Pray over them. Sometimes anoint them if you got some anointing, or anoint them. I know y'all be like, look, why you going so deep? Because prayer changed things.
Yeah, I mean, and it's sad, or it's, you used to really have to be worried about the boys more so, but now it's the girls just as much, because some of them are pulling the triggers or getting involved more and more with guns and gun violence. And before, it was the boys, they get a hot head and they get into it and somebody get mad. And now they're targeting the girls.
Yes.
They're targeting girls. And the girls are getting, they're not secret about it. I
None
think a few weeks ago
whatsoever.
it was, I think it was, what is his name? I can't remember what local rappers, but when his baby mama got shot over the argument here, something happened in a bowling alley.
Oh yes,
Um,
yes. Wasn't it two? It wasn't 2 Chainz.
no,
Was
it was.
It was who?
I don't know. My mind is drawing a blank.
Young Thug.
Young Thug. That's what it
Okay.
was. It was Young Thug.
Mhm.
Young Thug's baby mama got into an argument.
Bowling ball.
At a over a bowling alley, and she goes outside, and the guy shoots her. I'm like, there used to be some type of code or something.
Yeah,
Wasn't it like you?
well,
didn't-
you know, the mafia still have the code. They don't kill women. or
yeah,
children.
I'm like, just wasn't
And
that a code?
right now,
or-
street code amongst us, our people,
there ain't no street code. Because, I mean, anybody
Ain't
can get
none,
it.
and
Yeah,
it's sad. You should
anything. Like,
have
even,
some,
yeah.
like, leave her alone. I done got her. You know,
Yeah.
we done squashed this thing. Let's keep it moving. But nah, you think you big and bad, and you're not gonna get caught. But see, what gets me, Mr. P, when you do it, you run and hide.
Yeah.
No, you shot and killed the person right there. So why don't you just wait for the police if you big and bad? Stay there and wait.
Yeah.
Take your consequences. Remember, you big and bad. So why run? I don't understand that. That means you still a wimp.
And I mean, cameras everywhere. So you know what I mean? Cameras everywhere. Everybody's
Stay
pulling
there.
out there.
Why run?
Everybody's pulling out their camera. There's
Why
cameras all
run?
over the place. So everybody, of course, criminals are not smart, because if they were smart, they wouldn't get caught. But they always get caught. Everybody saw you arguing with her. You had an altercation with her inside the bowling alley.
Witness.
So, she just happens to walk out there. You don't think you would be a suspect? You know, it's like you're the only one who are. You're right.
See, Miss P, you see my thing. If you big and bad to take somebody's life, be big and bad to go to prison for it. Stay there till the police arrive and say, "I did it." Now, then you say that's a bad boy right there. You better stay away from that one.
Well, we know usually people who resort to that are not bad. So
Stop. That means so what they need to do? Stop.
Yeah.
This not Jesse James. And who's with Jesse James when they got to doing all this stuff?
I think his brother Frank.
That's right. You ain't none of them.
Well, but I promise you, they swear they are, Dr. D.
Now them some real gangsters.
I think they think they'll get away with it, but
and then the mafias. Who are the mafia gangsters? I forget. I used to was crazy about that John Gotti.
Oh, John Gotti. There's a lot of them. So,
so those are gangsters. We ain't gangsters.
No,
so
we're not
stop
real
doing what
gangsters.
they doing.
Real
Okay.
gangster. There's no code. There's no honor.
They're in the grave too, aren't they?
Yeah, there's no honor in it.
Mhm.
So
No.
before the streets, there's no codes or rules anymore.
None whatsoever.
Nah, that's going out the window. It's just pure violence.
And then let's talk about the Cleveland Avenue.
That's what I'm going to say. Security guard.
First of all, and I say I'm condolences to everybody who's lost someone, but that I have to send my condolences out to that family. That was senseless killing, irresponsible witnesses that sat there and didn't do a daggone thing. And then you had the audacity to rob the guy.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a special place for you, a special place, because who would do that? If I'm sitting on the curb, I don't care. I'm going to call somebody. I'm going to wait till the person who did it long gone know, and then I'm going to call somebody to come and help. You know, for you to walk up and see this man laying there bleeding and you rob him and not call anyone. What's wrong with our society now?
It's like there's different worlds that people live in, Dr. V, and the people who live in that world, they have no value for life. They have no value for the people who live in that world,
and no moral standards.
And I guess that's what you would call the underbellies of society. They don't see this person down here as anything other than an object. They don't see him as somebody's father, somebody's brother, somebody's son,
grandson,
brother, husband.
And to see his grandmother say he was my oldest grandson.
Yeah. And, he just working. It wasn't like there was an altercation that happened that you could see. The man was literally getting something out of his car, and the guy was a coward, came up and shot him in the back. Shot him in the back. That's why I said there's no honor. He didn't call the guy's name, get the guy's head, and he didn't give the guy a chance to be robbed, to take his stuff. He shot the man down, went through his pockets, and casually, he didn't even run. He casually went through his pockets
and the guy sitting on the curb watching.
Yeah,
and
there were
shaking
people
his
around,
head.
and he knew they weren't gonna do nothing. So he got up, he went through the man's pockets and casually walked away.
Mm.
And then I think it was a homeless guy who witnessed the whole thing.
Shaking his head on the
Got up,
curb.
shake
He
his
was
head.
sitting there and walked
Yeah.
away, got up and then walked away.
He didn't
And
even
then some
run.
more people walked up, saw him.
Yeah.
Go, come on now.
And he didn't. The guy that was the sad part, that the homeless guy, he didn't even react to it. He didn't get up and run because the guy who shot the man had to walk past him. Just walk past him. He didn't even look at him.
Mm-mm.
Dude didn't care that there were witnesses, that there were people out there. It's like, only thing I can think of, Dr. V, is that he was in the midst of a drug-induced high or something. I don't know.
No,
I can't say. I'm just speculating, but I'm just saying it's hard for me to grasp that you're so disconnected that you have no reaction whatsoever
Mm-hmm.
to someone being murdered right there in front of you.
And-
No reaction.
And then my thing is, if it was their family member, they'd be all out there. Why didn't they say something? Why didn't they do something? Do you ever put yourself in the place of that family? And what if it was your family member? Wouldn't you want somebody to come forward? Wouldn't you want someone to stay there and say, hey, that person did give a description of what happened? You know, put yourself in that situation. You wouldn't want that to happen to your family.
Yeah.
I just feel this wrong.
Yeah, of course it's wrong.
And
It's
I
just-
hope that they get the ones who came and took the money out the pocket, the guy who sat there and watched it.
Mhm.
I want them all
Yeah,
apprehended.
so hopefully, they've already caught the suspect. So that's a good thing. So he's off the streets. But it just states that there's people in our society, people in our city who just there's no value for life.
None
There's no
whatsoever.
value for life. There's no
None.
impact to them. They're not moved
No
one way or
care.
the other when someone's life is taken.
None.
So,
So, all right. So
prayers on that.
yeah, we send prayers. I keep their families in your prayers, and pray that we come together because it's our people killing each other.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, unfortunately, it is. So, all right. Did you see the Mike Tyson video? Dr. Lee?
Yeah.
No, Mike.
Lesson
Mike-
learned.
Well, Mike has a history, and the guy knew who Mike was, and
You
yeah.
sure he knew who Mike was?
Yeah, because that's
Did
why he was
really,
harassing.
really. Hold on. Did he really know
Well, he was wrapped in his
that
privilege.
he was a heavyweight
He did.
champion of the world?
But that's where privilege goes, Dr.
That
D.
he bite ears off.
He knew that, but this is where his privilege.
Savage.
He thought that his privilege was going to protect him, that he has the freedom to harass that man, even though the guy told him, over and over again. And Mike got a box that has a history of violence. And again, it's like,
But he has been calm over the years.
I know, but I mean,
But this
there's
time,
only some, if you're going to, for those people, if people are going to forgive Will Smith, they got to forgive Mike too.
they have forgiven. They have
Look, let me
forgiven
give
him
him time.
because of what he did.
If you're gonna forgive that, Mike did it a couple times. Let me see. Mike, what he did, but it seems like Mike probably pulled back a little bit too, because if he really wanted to,
That boy face would have really been. messed
yeah.
up.
So he might have got scratched something. So it's like, like Mike might have pulled back on him, but it's like personal space is a thing to me. You know what I mean? It's like certain people, they don't respect your personal space, and personal space is a big thing. It's like we already on this limited plane, and then you've invaded my personal space. I was like, all right, I was friendly for a minute.
He was. He took pictures with them, talked to them. They said he was. He talked to them. He, didn't display no anger when he got on the planes, and then when he sat down, once the celebrity have talked with you and did what they need to do, and they sit down, leave them alone. They're human, just like you and I. Some days we want to talk. Some days we don't want to talk. Yes, because they are celebrities, we feel that we are forcing them to talk. Once they do their obligation, let them sit down, enjoy the flight. And then my thing was, though, when he told the boy, all right, chill out.
Yeah.
When they say chill out, it's time to chill out.
It's time to chill out, man. He's like, look, chill out. But again, privilege.
Again, Mike Tyson.
Dude was wrapped in his privilege. And
he was too wrapped in it.
Yeah, he too wrapped in his privilege. And,
but he was campaigning for it, though.
Yeah, he wanted it.
vote
like,
me, vote me.
yeah.
And Mike Tyson said, okay, then I'm gonna support you.
Right. And so, Mike,
You in.
and then I think Mike got off the plane after that because it's just,
As soon as it happened, he got on the plane.
Yeah, 'cause he's
From my
like-
understanding, the guy didn't press any charges.
he should, because he know, if Chris Rock can take a slap, he can take those punches.
Chris
'cause-
Rock.
Yeah, when
Chris Rock. That's right. See,
yeah,
I want to forget about that slap so bad because
Chris
I feel
Rock
so
can take it,
bad.
Mike. So shout out, Mike.
Yeah.
I understand, Mike. Now I'm gonna give you
Mhm.
some grace on that one, Mike, because again, you didn't go
Yeah.
seek out that man.
No,
You
he
didn't. You was
Mm-mm.
you did it so much. I get it. We're not a society of violence, but come on, violence at some certain point, he's trapped. It ain't like he can walk away from this other than getting off the flight. They're in a
Exactly.
plane. He really didn't
Mhm.
have an escape route.
No, he didn't.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like he
Mhm.
could once, he was already in the seat. He's like, okay. Then it was just like he just got at some point he reverted back to him old self.
hmm
And so
Well, hopefully he didn't revert back. He
for
just-
a second.
Yeah.
But really, I wish that someone else would have superseded and said, "Leave that man alone, bro." You know what I mean?
They
Or
don't do
flight
that.
attendant. I know they're not because they're Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
But at the same time, shout out Mike.
Yeah. He campaigned for it though.
Yeah.
He campaigned.
I got $5 on it if they tried to sue you, Mike. I got $5 on it.
$5.
Yeah, I put $5 on Mike. Shout out Mike.
You gonna go put the $5?
Yeah, I give him
Books.
$5. I give him $5.
What are you gonna be able to buy with that $5?
I don't know. If everybody put $5 on it, that's $5 less that he got to pay, old boy. So I'm just saying, y'all give us $5. I'll take y'all $5.
$5 back in the day. Woo, you
Yeah.
could do a whole lot with $5 but
Mhm. I'll
today.
take that
child, you couldn't even
$5.
get no gas.
Well, no, I can get what one.
One. Oh my god.
I think it's $4.50 now. Premium.
I
I
think
don't know.
so.
It costs a lot.
I don't
It's a
even
lot.
look at it. I just pump the gas.
That's
'Cause
how y'all
you
know
said
Dr.
that-
B got money because she don't even look at it. She's just like,
No, because what is the need to look at the price when you know you need the gas?
Yeah.
So you get the gas and not worry about it and thank God that you have the funds to be able to fill your car up
mhm.
and keep it moving. So it's not about having money, it's knowing that it's a need and I got to get it.
Shout out. We're gonna give a $25 gift card out to, we're gonna pick somebody who randomly subscribed to our YouTube channel. So you better go like and subscribe
And share.
and share. And we're gonna randomly pick one person who
Mhm.
subscribed to our YouTube channel, and we're
Mhm.
gonna give you a $25 gas card.
That's right.
$25 gas card.
Gas
There
card.
you go. So that might give you to work 1 or 2 days, but that's
Hey,
better than a week.
25 is better than 0.
Right.
And then it'll help you because sometimes filling up your car is what, $50 to $60, and you have a $25 gift card, then you only paying half of that. Come on
Mhm.
now.
I'll be happy for the 50 if I can get $50. to fill up
Exactly,
Dr.
exactly. So
Gas
come
ain't
on,
no
y'all.
joke. So shout out.
Get this cash.
Get this cash. Go on and subscribe, and so you can get this
Yes.
$25 gift gas
Yes.
card. So what else we got going on, Dr. B? We got we're gonna talk about the side baby later, but you saw the doctor got off for killing 14 patients.
Yeah.
He got acquitted.
And what did Dr. Gavorkian get?
He was assisted suicide. This was
Ain't it about the same?
probably, but I don't know if they actually wanted him to do that. They might have, I don't know. I think in his mind, that's what he was doing, assisting them to the other side.
Yeah. Mhm.
But he got acquitted. So I don't care. He got acquitted, but y'all remember what's his name? Remember his name. So y'all, if he your doctor, no sir.
He said, tell him that.
Let me get the doctor name. What's the doctor name? Because
You gonna get his name.
anybody name sound like that, Dr. B? Nah, I'm gonna need somebody else. I'm gonna need somebody else.
It's just something, first of all, for those who are I don't know, was it a suicide that he was assisting with?
No, he was their doctor, and he was.
So why would he write it? It had to be something.
He gave them fentanyl. They were probably sick.
That's what we need to know. What was the root cause?
They said he gave them wildly excessive doses of fentanyl. And fentanyl been killing these people left and right.
Yeah,
I think
because they're lacing it. Yeah.
And that what Prince? I know.
No, Prince didn't die. It was opioids. for
Yeah,
Prince.
fentanyl. It was opioid, but
They're lacing fentanyl, cocaine, marijuana.
I don't know, y'all. If y'all,
Yeah.
y'all people familiar with this,
Yeah.
but his name is Hustle, Husel, William Hustle,
Mhm.
Husel. He's an Ohio doctor. He was accused of killing 14 patients with where
Mm.
prosecutors described as wildly excessive doses of fentanyl between 2015 and 2018, and he was acquitted on all counts of murder. That's crazy.
Yes,
And they were
is.
critically ill, so that's what they're saying. He was a one-time physician at the Cleveland Clinic,
Okay.
and he faced one count of murder for each of the 14 critically ill patients he was accused of killing.
Mhm.
So he must have been like a anesthesiologist or something like that. Let me see. I don't know what he was.
Anesthesiologist.
Yeah, that's what they used to give, or maybe somebody, the pain person. He says he has been charged with causing or hastening their deaths amid a period of lax oversight of fentanyl at Mount Carmel West, a Catholic hospital in Columbus. So he got acquitted of all those. So yeah, and so fentanyl is a synthetic opioid.
Mm-hmm.
It says it's more powerful than morphine,
Okay.
and it has wreaked havoc on American streets. So
yeah. And I just watched Trap Queen season 3, where one of the shows that this particular trap queen, that's what she did was morphine.
Oh, okay.
Sold it on in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But see, look, they're
so
trying to.
You saying this is more powerful than that?
Yeah.
Morphine.
Yeah. And then here's the thing: they're trying to. I guess what got him out of his defense says that the doctor's actions did not occur in secret. Nurses were the ones that administered the dose. So he wrote it, and I don't know. They threw the nurses under the bus. So
see, don't throw them, because the nurses can't do it without an order. So they had to receive orders. Yeah. So don't throw them under the bus for the doctor. They do what the doctors tell them to do.
I think it resulted in the firing of 23 employees and the resignation of the hospital chief.
That's not right.
But yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Dr. William, let me see what it looked like.
That hospital shady. I wouldn't even want to go to the hospital.
Yeah, but
if you're going to throw your nurses under the bus for receiving orders from what the doctor told them.
Well, I think that's what the defense was saying, the defense attorney. But the 23 people got fired, so apparently there's got to be some checks and balances, and someone's supposed to know at least.
So when you telling me you the doctor and you comes out and you said, nurse, go give them cc ounces or whatever they give, and I do what you say, they die. You gonna hold me accountable?
Well, because I think they're supposed to. Nurses are trained, and I can't speak on a bunch of things, but I do believe that they're trained knowing what the different doses are. What's a good dose? What's a bad dose? So, like, say for instance, if a doctor accidentally does too much, I think nurses, if they see that or have an indication, they're supposed to say something like, "Nah, bro, you ain't finna, you're gonna kill this person." So I think they are trained on that one. But again. Hopefully there's some oversight or somebody dropped the ball. So, apparently,
I got to call some of my nurse friends tonight and find out what is the checks and balances. Do you do what happened when you went against the grain? Or what the doctor ordered? Were the doctors, receptive of making that correction?
Yeah,
so I want to know.
And assisted suicide, you haven't heard a lot about it more recently, but that was a big thing a while ago. And then if you watch Atlanta, shout out to Atlanta, that's a great show. Y'all check out season 3. But there was an episode in it where I think they're over there in Amsterdam, somewhere over there in Europe, and I think it believed that it's legal there.
Okay.
Where they go to this party. So the people go to this party and they just think they don't know what the party is or why they're there. But it turns out to be some type of assisted suicide party. So everybody's dressed in white.
Oh no!
And there's this guy on the bed, and then it's not funny, but of course the people talking about that's the guy's Tupac. Is that Tupac over there? But anyway, after they do all this crazy stuff and this ceremony, the nurse or whoever helping them hits his button and basically suffocates the guy to death. So it's an assisted suicide party. And if you watch that episode, you've seen it, but it's I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that.
Definitely. And now anybody who's suffering from suicide, get the number so we can call that out real quick.
Um,
Anyone that's going through, depression or attempting suicide, please reach out. There are counselors that are able to talk to you, help you through it, because we don't want you to lose your life. We need you here. God has you here for a reason and a purpose, and we need you to live out your purpose.
yeah, I think it's 1-800-273-8255, the National Suicide Prevention Life
Okay.
Center. So
All right. Make sure you reach out to them. All right, because
yeah,
like I
you
said,
can actually chat to
Yeah.
somebody like that, but
Mhm,
that's just
that's a strong thing. And remember now, you want to see Jesus, you cannot commit suicide. Let's tell you that, and let's not even go and even attempt it, or someone doing it for you, because how are you going to ask God for forgiveness? All right, that's why He gives us grace, and He gives it to us abundantly, so that we're able to ask Him for forgiveness, and He will forgive us. But if you kill yourself, there's no asking for forgiveness of what you've done. All right.
yeah. Okay. What else we got? So doctor got acquitted. Let's talk about this $500 wedding.
I'm gonna let y'all talk about that.
No, you can't let you talk, because I think it's brilliant. Because again, what's the purpose of the wedding, Dr. D?
Seeking the union of man and woman getting married.
Right. And so what's the requirements?
What? To
For-
get married?
Like spiritual. What's like you have to have
Equally
witnesses. But no, come on, but
That's
you gotta have.
spiritual.
No, I'm saying
That's the
like
spirit. Man said you got to have witnesses. Ain't nowhere in the Bible said you had to have a witness to get
okay,
married.
so you don't have to have a witness.
Well, man says that you do. So now that's law that you have to have a witness. But God never said you had to have a witness.
Do you have to have a pastor or someone to do the ceremony, or?
Again, man.
I know
says
man.
by
I know
law,
man
yeah.
said that by law you have to do that. So spiritually, like if I want to marry somebody, do I
Back
have
in
to?
the day, now back in
Right.
biblical times, you ain't have to have all of that.
You didn't have to have that day. You
No.
could just
Get married and go back to business.
you just say we're gonna be together. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Did you hear of anything other than the wedding that Mary and Jesus attended? Did you hear that they say who was officiating that wedding?
No.
No, all right then. Y'all better start reading y'all word.
But don't go out here and be doing these this common law stuff. Y'all better get your stuff in order.
Ain't nobody no common law. That's why I'm just saying, man, and we still go by the laws of the land. God governs that. So whatever the laws are, we must abide by those rules and laws. Okay.
So don't just be saying we were married now.
No.
And then
that was
when
biblical.
when something happened and you try to show up at the hospital, his mama and them like, girl, who is you?
No.
We's married.
Go ahead and get married. Get you a priest or a pastor, whomever, to officiate your marriage, or go to the justice of the peace. Okay. But biblical, no, you never heard. Y'all, you heard was that Mary told Jesus, hey, I need you. They don't have no wine. I need you to turn this here water into wine. And he really didn't want to do it, but because that was his mother and he was obedient, he just turned it and just kept on pushing.
Right. So, but y'all don't try to do that now. Y'all make sure y'all handle y'all business.
Okay.
So I'm telling you, you're gonna be trapped, stuck. You get your feelings hurt because the government not gonna recognize it. Those benefits you're not gonna get.
Yeah.
So make sure you be legit. But anyway, this couple went viral because they spent $500 on a wedding. She paid $47 for a wedding dress. They got married on the side of this highway or this this road in the mountains overlooking. It was a beautiful view.
Oh, wasn't it the ocean?
No, I think I don't know if it's the ocean, but it was somewhere in California. So
it was over the water.
Was it over the water?
That was the backdrop.
Nice view. They after the wedding, they went to a restaurant and everybody
they had to pay for their own
meal.
meal.
Everybody paid for their own meal.
She had her attendees they had to pay.
Yeah. And so they had people who gifted them
a lot of things.
Flowers. Her godmother gave her flowers, and her god sister chipped in with the cake. So they went to a lounge for the reception. So they didn't have a reservation, so they arrived right when it opened. So and everybody was there. She said the people who were there understood their assignment. So they hope their wedding on a budget serves as an inspiration to other couples. So
and it should be, because why are you planning this fabulous wedding? And I know many of you, so don't say Dr. Cox told y'all not to do this. My thing is, you planning for a wedding, but you don't plan for a marriage,
Mhm.
and you are divorced so quick. You spent 30 to 40 on up on a daggone wedding, but you won't put anything into saving your marriage. So I'm in agreement with them paying what they paid, because they can save that money for a house, get out of debt. It's so many things that you can save that money for. And I remember a girlfriend of mine, she had said, no, I'm not having no reception. I'm not feeding a bunch of black people. They can, $25 a plate, they can pay for that. And so, I mean, you got to cut corners wherever you got to cut corners. I see it. I am in agreement with it. So shout out to them, and I'm done with that conversation.
Well,
I'll let Mr. P take
You're gonna have a rebuttal to this because I
Yeah.
see it two ways.
Okay.
The marriage is one thing. I
Mhm.
get it.
Mm-hmm.
They could have went to the courthouse, got married, or they could have just got married even in that same spot
Mm-hmm.
with whoever the person who did the marriage ceremony with their environment. They didn't have to have guests. You don't have to have guests. You don't have to have a reception. You don't have to do all that. You can, if the most important thing is that you're getting married. So I applaud that for them getting married. I have certain feelings, and I'm looking past the marriage, the actual ceremony, because my concern would be if this was my daughter or my family member. Okay, it's great that you only spent $500, but is that an indication of where you're at financially going forward? You know what I mean? So that would be my question. If I'm great that you're on the budget, that you sticking to your budget, and I agree, no one should ever go in debt or for a wedding.
People are doing that.
Yeah, they shouldn't do that. So I'm not nowhere saying that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying the reason you're doing this is because you're saving the money for other things. Because again, let's just put it in notion. $500.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to offend anybody. It's not a whole lot of money. You know what I mean? It's some money, but it's not a whole lot.
But
of
the
money.
wedding was nice.
Right.
They showed.
But that's what I'm
Morning
saying. So
America.
it's not a lot of money.
It was nice though.
Right.
The dresses
So
were nice.
I'm just saying, my thing is, okay, if money is your concern, or you want to do this, or is this what you can afford?
Mm-hmm.
Or is your plan just not to go into debt or to put the responsibility on other people? Financially would be my concern. If that was my daughter, what's y'all financial state going to be? If that's like, hey, we just trying to do it as tight as possible. We got money saved up for a house. We got money saved up for this. We want to do this.
That's what I said. We don't know.
Right, we don't know. So
that
would be me. I'm looking at it for your future. I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
at the behaviors that y'all are doing. Are y'all turning up on the weekends or spending money on this other stuff, and then it comes down to the wedding, you're trying to nickel and penny it, or this is just how you guys are setting up your lifestyle going forward? So that, for me, those were the questions that was popping to my mind.
Understood.
As long as you're getting married, y'all came to agreement, that's what y'all want to do. Great, I support that. Get married. More people need to be getting married. Nobody needs to be going into debt on that one. So that was my only question. I'm like, okay, are we doing this because, hey, this is how we're gonna rock it. We're gonna keep everything tight, and we planning for our future. We doing all this and we doing all that, and we just putting emphasis on that. Because people throw away $500 every day easily. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, that would be my only thing. Because again, if I ain't got to pay for it, that ain't my problem. That's between y'all. Y'all do y'all, boo.
Right. So I like the concept.
Yeah.
Like I said, earlier that they're saving, and I'm quite sure they are, because if you're pinching right now, I know what you're doing. You're saving, and that's good.
So Dr. V, when we go to your wedding, we're gonna be on 285 and 20. Dr. V gonna get married at overpass 285 and 20.
You got jokes. No.
We're not doing 285 and 20.
No.
Because here's the thing, Dr. V, it's funny too, because there's people do it all kind of thing. They're pass the buck on to the people who are attending it sometimes in different ways. Like there's people who do destination weddings. And so you got to make a decision. You want who you trying to be there. You want do a destination that everybody can afford, or
Mhm.
who you want certain people doing it. So it just depends, because destination weddings,
I'm gonna
usually
tell
you
you
pay
now,
your
mine
own
is
thing.
gonna be small,
It's gonna be small.
and
Okay,
it is a destination.
it's a destination.
But it will be small.
Small.
Mm-mm.
Because I've been. Let me see. Have I been? Yeah, I did one destination wedding. I think a good friend of mine, she did it on a cruise.
Mm-mm.
And then they got married on the beach. Then I had another friend. I think they did it in Jamaica.
Okay.
I had one who was doing it, but I wasn't able. A couple more who were doing them, but we weren't
You
able
weren't
to
able to
attend.
attend. Okay.
So it seems like that.
That's the
That's the
vibe.
thing. That's the vibe, I guess. Yeah. So it's like a win-win for certain people,
So
because
the
you get a
question
vacation.
is, if you do get married at a destination like the islands, do you celebrate your honeymoon there too, or you leave, or what do you do?
I think you probably celebrate your honeymoon. This one friend of mine, when she got married, she they did the cruise and they did it on the island, and then when they got back to the States, they did another reception for the people who couldn't go and stuff like that. So
I'm not talking about that. That's
I know, but I'm just saying.
honeymoon,
So
where you at?
probably why
Okay,
not?
that's the question.
So, but if you big ball like Dr. V, you can do it at that destination, and you hop on your private jet and you go to another destination for your honeymoon.
But you know what? I'm gonna receive that.
You gonna
Bishop
receive that?
Hilliard told me to receive that word.
You
and
gonna receive that?
I'm gonna receive that. Thanks, Bishop Hilliard, Apostle Hilliard.
So when you get to that destination,
I got faith.
because it depends on destination too, and then I guess again, I've been to some really nice weddings, and I've been to some really simple weddings.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I'm trying to see I think most of the weddings that I've been to, most of the people are still together. There's some.
Okay.
I think there's maybe 1, 2.
Oh Lord.
Maybe 3 that I've been to that they're not still together. Maybe 3, I think. Might be more, might be less.
That's
then
not
like
good.
I said, well, I can't even count the number of weddings I've been to, but it's been. How many weddings you been to?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Yeah.
Thank God.
Dr. V, you don't be going about wedding. Always a bride, never bridesmaid.
Exactly. So
I've only been. How many weddings have I been in? One. Not counting my own. I was in my cousin's wedding.
Okay.
My other cousin's wedding.
See, you get caught up being in the wedding party.
But weddings are fun. Usually fun,
Yeah, I've gone to weddings. I've only been into actually one wedding. And that was good, and that was enough for me, because the next wedding that I'm in will be mine.
Yeah. So I guess when you get older, I guess you can still go to old people weddings and get into there. So there's been some older people I've been to some weddings.
I don't know why you gonna call out old people.
I said older
people.
It's a different vibe when you were young and you get in the wedding, because you think you look good. Now when you get older, you just ready to get it over with. You just go get to the reception now, because it's a different vibe.
Yeah.
Your age when you're doing these
definitely,
weddings. So
definitely.
So
Okay.
So
what's
shout
on
out
the agenda now?
Shout out to y'all $500 wedding. Let's see how many more people come. And she went viral, so she probably could make some money off of it and spend it the right way.
Let's see what Mr. P got planned for us to talk about.
I'm gonna drop this one on here for Dr. V before we talk about this side baby real quick.
Yes.
Shout out to Future. I know that's one of your favorite person. Future remodeled Columbia High School weight room. He went to Columbia High School.
No, I didn't know Future went to
Columbia. He went to Columbia.
Then he my people.
You see, and so now he's
I went to Shamrock High School. But Columbia High School, we did, of course, we ran track against them, basketball, different things of that nature.
So Future, shout out Future. Dr. V got love for you.
Got love for you.
He redid their weight room, because I think his sister went there too, and so for part of his nonprofit.
When you give back, I'm your friend.
All right, so Future, you got love from Dr. V until next Valentine's Day, and we'll see what happens.
Whatever.
We'll see what happens. But let's talk about this side, baby, just real quick, and then we'll get into our topic. But there was an article or a question brought out where, let me make sure that I want to quote it the correct way.
Definitely. We want to get the right information to you.
But the
So we can give you food for thought so we can stir up conversation on this particular topic here.
Okay. Yeah, here we go. So basically, here's the premise of it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a married man
Mm-hmm.
who had basically an affair, and which resulted in a pregnancy,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And the mother of the child passed away, similar to like Fences. If you ever seen the movie Fences with Denzel Washington
Mm-hmm.
and I want to say her, Viola Davis. Fences was the premise behind it. And the mother died, and the wife agreed to help raise the child.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But here's the caveat: she did not want the child calling her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there it is. Let me make sure I read it. So, a married man had an affair which produced a side baby. The mother child died, and the father and his wife agreed to take the baby in and raise it. The wife would not let the child call her mom. Is this being reasonable or petty?
Petty. That's not reasonable. Give me your thoughts first.
Well, is it petty? On the surface, it may appear that way, but beneath it, probably not, because maybe the wife, that was the, because we talked about sacrifice before, sacrificing a relationship. This is a big sacrifice that she chose to help raise this child and not to leave her marriage. So that's a sacrifice on her on her part. But maybe she feels like the trade-off for her is that she's gonna keep that title as mother, a special place for her and her children, in order for her to be able to accept this child and move it on, that she had to keep something for herself in order to be able to do that. Now, she didn't say that. That's just me looking at it from another perspective and a directive on it, because again, that's a lot, Dr. V. That's a lot to take on. And again, that's not the child's fault. But again, I think one of our people who were live with us, she made a mention, and I think about it often when she says that you're NSF and sometimes you don't have anything left for yourself. So maybe she has some raising a child, she has some of that to give, and some of the emotional support, but maybe not all of the emotional support she has to give, because she's holding on to it for herself to keep herself balanced or her sanity in order to raise that child. So again, it's a lot to ask her to raise that child and for her to take on that responsibility. So that means, and then I'm sure you have a different perspective. Look at your face, Dr. V. But I'm just trying to understand it from a perspective. So again, looking below the surface, I can see how that's not being petty, Dr. V. For now, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, let me just start off by saying, yeah, I know she's probably hurt because this is an outside child. He went outside of the household, produced another child, and now we're faced with a situation. All right. The first situation is, once that happened, you forgave him, you stayed with him, you didn't leave him. Okay. So now that this outside baby has been produced, mother is no longer here to provide for the child, to nurture the child, to be there for the child, to love the child. And now the baby now is in the home. Okay. I understand sometimes we can deal with things when it's outside of the household, but now it's inside of the household. And now that this baby is a package deal, it's daddy and baby. And now it's a part of your family, the nucleus of your family. And if we all say that we are Christians, how can you not love? Because number one, if you love someone, you're going to take care of them. You're going to do what needs to be done. You've got to remember, this child is growing up without a mother, and therefore you are a mother. Why wouldn't you want this baby to call you mom. They have nobody else. That baby is going to feel resented, neglected, and let down and left out because you are allowing only your children that you birth. What if I did that as a foster parent? When they come to me, they call me mom. I know that I'm not their biological mom, but I'm there in place of. And so, how dare you? And also, I am a product of my father and a stepmother. I would not believe that if something happened, that my stepmother would not have allowed me to call her mom. And at times I did call her mom. There's a certain amount of love there. You have to see beyond the situation, see beyond that, and see the love and say, this child is growing up without the things that my kids will have privy to. Now, what would it be if you had died and someone had to raise your babies? How would you feel about that? Someone telling them, don't call me your mama. I'm not your mom. How would you feel? So we have to put ourselves in certain situations before we go out here and say, don't call me mama. That's not right. Because if you stayed in that marriage, you agreed to whatever comes your way, because you had the opportunity to leave this man when he walked outside of the marriage. You had the opportunity to leave when that child was produced. But yet and still, you stayed in it. And now that there's a baby, and this baby has nothing to do with your husband stepping outside of the marriage. So that means that this is an innocent baby, an innocent child that needs to have a mother in his or her life. And therefore, you need to be there. My stepmother was there for me. My mother traveled in ministry. So many times I had to stay with my father. Now, one time when she fed her kids, she fed me. So I feel some type of way about that. So yeah, okay. I think it's petty.
Okay, what about, let me put it like this. So what if she's treating them the same? It's just because here, let me put it, because there are some mothers out there who don't want you to call their mama. Some people call their mom by her first name.
That's
right.
Totally
I'm just saying.
That's
so,
totally
and I just saw somebody make a comment about that. So that's the same thing. They were saying, what's the difference in that and just calling somebody like a Gigi or Mimi versus saying
totally different.
A mama?
Because my grandmother, when my niece was born, my mom was like, I want her to call me Gigi. That's something totally different. But this here doesn't want the child to call mama, period. Don't do that. They're growing up without a mama. And so what you're putting in this child is a sense of not belonging.
But I feel like you're putting too much burden on the wife and not enough on the father.
He is the one. No.
You see what I'm saying? So
we're not trying to say we done dealt with him.
Well, really, you haven't, because
she had to have dealt with it, other she would have left out of the marriage.
But she's still dealing with it, because basically every day of her life, she has a living reminder.
Yeah, but she got to leave
But
she could have walked away from it, though, Mr. P.
She could have, but she could have.
So that means would you prefer her to walk away? That comes with it. That means you're going to have to deal with everything.
Would you prefer that she walk away?
She should. If she was going to walk away, she should have walked away when he told her about the outside.
Maybe she thought she could do it, deal with it. Maybe she wanted some self-love, Dr. V. Maybe she learned to love herself, like we talked about in our first episode. Self-love is enough. She can sacrifice.
You know what?
I'm just saying, Dr. V.
I'm not backing down.
I'm not saying back down.
I'm
just
not
saying,
backing down, and I'm not changing my position.
I'm not asking you to change your position. I'm just saying there's other areas to think about, other perspectives.
No, I'm staying on that. She doesn't want this child to call her mom. I want to focus on that part.
But you can't, because there's got to be reasons why.
But we done dealt with those things. I said 1, 2, 3. I gave you process.
What if that was her agreement with her husband?
What?
That I'm going to stay, but she can't call me mother. So what is his recourse? What is he supposed to do?
Oh, he should have been like, we're going to talk about this thing, because
well, he can't.
And then my thing
talk about it and then do what?
And then you need to go talk to someone. Get to talking to someone.
And do
Find
what?
someone that has some wisdom.
And do what?
And sit, and she needs to talk and get educated.
What does he need to do?
What he needs to do is be praying that his wife has a change of heart and mind.
What if she doesn't change?
that's on her. She gonna have to deal with God. I'm not her judge.
But if she's treating this child the same, she's just calling her a different
You
name.
got to watch out too. Let me tell you something. You know what them old folks say, be careful what you do today because it may come back and slap you later on. You may be thinking you depended upon your kids to take care of you and to be the one who you didn't want to call mama, the one that's going to take care of you, wipe you behind if something happens to you. Stop putting all your hopes and dreams in your children and be looking to the ones that's been there, that will be there for you.
This, I think, is the burdens of the mother and the father have been put onto this child and the wife. Because here's the thing.
This is about the baby.
You can't say it's about the baby.
It's about the baby.
It's easy to try to do that, but you can't just turn it off. You can't just turn off the act that happened. You can't turn off the hurt and the stuff that happened that got the baby here. And again, I understand that child ain't got nothing to do with that.
That means if you stayed, that means you have accepted the responsibility of what comes with it. And so to me, if she knew the assignment, she should have got out. I don't care how you slice, dice, or get that out in dosage. I'm sorry.
The responsibility doesn't come with a name, Dr. V. The responsibility is not attached to the name.
Look here.
I'm just saying,
and you know I'm right. You know I'm right. That's why you sit up here smiling. You just try to dispute with me, to give it content. And I understand that, y'all. Right. But we got to make sure. No.
Dr. B, I'm not saying what's right or wrong. What I'm saying is.
No. So what you're saying, Dr. B, because this ain't going to happen, that you stepped outside of marriage, you produced a child. That child died. You bring it home to your wife. And your wife says she can't call me mama. How would you feel? How would you handle this?
I probably would be hurt, but I would understand. Because again.
So how would you explain to your child the reason why your wife would not allow them to call?
Because I'm gonna have to tell the child the truth. I stepped outside of our marriage. Mm-hmm. I broke the vow to my wife. Mm-hmm. And as a consequences, I'm sorry, I have put you in this situation. Mm-hmm. I own it. Don't feel like it's anything to do with you. It's mine. It's my burden to carry.
Say, I feel that she doesn't love me.
Right.
And what's your response?
My response is, I'm sorry that you feel that. I will have a conversation and we'll see. I don't believe that. It depends. If I don't think that's the case, if I see her treating her differently, yes, I'm going to handle that accordingly. But if I don't, let me finish. Mm-hmm. If I don't see any difference in the treatment or the way that she's doing with it, other than the name difference, I can't make somebody do something else. I'm going to have to pour more into that child.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm going to have to pour more into that child. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To make up for that.
Okay.
But at the same time, again, that's why this is a cautionary tale, because your other children are going to see the difference in how you are treating a child who is from an outside relationship. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
So how would you deal when the siblings say, that's my mama, and that's not your mama?
That's
you
the
can't
truth.
Call her mama. But how you going to deal with the kids doing that, going back and forth?
You have to work through it. You have to put them on you. You got to tell the kids, blame me. You have to tell that person.
You nip that in the bud, so it won't be teasing.
No, I'm going to take accountability for that, because it was my actions that got us here. Mm-hmm. That is my big thing about accountability. That is my actions that got us here.
Okay.
Don't blame your mother. Don't blame the child. These are my actions. So I've got to do the corrections. I've got to do the extra work to make up for my shortcomings or what happened. Because again, she's staying. So either I got to make the decision to really break up my family, and which is going to create more chaos, or I've got to try to navigate through that thing. Because again, if I choose to leave, she's not keeping that child. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to take that child with me, which is going to take away that child from the siblings. And I'm going to have to be responsible for 2 households now. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So I've got, what's the lesser 2 evils? So again, these are the things that people never think about, never consider, never go over. But if you're going to stand in it, if you're going to be a man about it and you're going to own it, own it.
Okay.
And you carry the burden. That burden is not on anybody but yours, because it was my infidelity and my actions that got us here, that got the child in that situation. And again, I'm going to have to pour more into the child and more into the family to hurt to heal the hurt that I caused, because I
Right.
hurt everybody.
Right.
I changed the direction of the lives for all my kids.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I have to tell them, and you got to own it and let them be mad at you, let them be
Yeah.
disappointed with you, and you know, hopefully you'll get to a place where that hurt has been healed and you guys can move forward. And at some point, maybe the wife will change her mind, but you can't force that on anybody. You know what I mean? You can't force her to do that.
People need Jesus.
Yeah, it's gonna
So
take a
that
lot
you
of
can
prayer,
love.
a lot of therapy, a lot of hurt feelings. Because again,
Mhm.
and they don't say how old the child was. Obviously, if the child is younger, not to remember, it might be different versus somebody you bringing somebody in here older, an older child. But again, that person is responsible. They carry that burden. So again, on the surface, it may seem a little petty, but underneath, that I don't know if I could do that, Dr. V.
Petty.
Yeah,
Petty,
like
petty,
I don't know if I
petty.
could sit there every day
Petty.
and deal with that. So
Petty.
I don't know what y'all think. Y'all, what y'all think? Y'all,
Petty.
and again, in Fences, it got even worse. If you ever
Yeah.
watch Fences, because he died.
Yeah, and she took care of
And
it.
she
That
took care of the baby.
Yeah, that's right. That's love.
I know that's
You gotta
love.
understand love.
But-
So y'all walk around and tell me y'all Christians, y'all ain't love.
That's a huge sacrifice. She raised that child, and she's gonna continue. And his
Mhm.
what happened? His two sons had to deal with it.
Mhm.
I think one of the youngest son who left. If you watch the
Military.
movie Fences, is a
Mhm.
great movie with.
It was
If
a
you
play
ain't watched it,
first.
it's a play
Mhm.
first.
Mhm.
Watch it. I actually got to see Denzel do the play
Mhm.
in person, and I saw
Okay,
the movie.
good.
So if you ever seen that, you know, for her to take on that responsibility to raise that child,
And
to
I'm not
stay with
telling
him,
y'all, you know, that's painful to see.
Yeah, that's
look at
painful.
the child and then look at your husband and see what.
and
but
then
we
he
have to
died
get
in
over
Fences,
that,
so he
yeah.
left her.
Mhm.
And say something was to happen in this situation where he dies, and she's there with the child.
Well, you know, she don't want me to call her mama, so
Well,
I know she's gonna get rid of. We're gonna find the next relative smoking and put that child. That's what
not
I'm
necessarily.
thinking. Yeah.
Not necessarily.
We're gonna get off this subject because that's touchy for me.
Oh, I know it's touchy for you,
It's touchy.
but I'm
for
just
me.
saying it for a lot of people, because trust me,
Mhm.
mama baby, papa maybe. There's a lot of people out there
Yeah.
like in their situations going on every day like that,
Yeah.
and you know, we'll see. Y'all tell us what you think.
Well, shout out to my stepmother. Hey, thank you all for always being there for me.
I had an evil stepmother, so I ain't gonna say that.
Ooh.
Say nothing, evil stepmother. Evil stepmother. That's a sore subject for me, Doctor. When we talk about stepmamas.
Okay. Thank you.
Wicked witches of the
You
West.
always kept my father off of me.
Was it the wicked witches of the West? Cinderella and all that. So yeah, so shout out that.
Okay.
Before we get to this topic, last time, Florida being Florida, y'all trying to go at Disney because Disney supported the Don't Stay Gay rule. Florida being Florida. If you're from Florida, please step up, drop a comment, let me know what y'all doing down there, because y'all going gangster at Mickey Mouse. Y'all know Disney. When nobody come to Florida if it wasn't for Disney and South Beach. So, and again, ain't like y'all got a lot of people in the LGBTQ plus
alphabet
community down there. So I'm just saying, what's the problem, man? What's the problem? Y'all going after Disney? Y'all going after the happiest place on earth? You know what they say?
Yes.
When people go after Super Bowl, they going to Disneyland, Disney
where
World,
your
wherever.
dreams come true.
And y'all trying to go after Disney? Florida being Florida. Come on now, y'all. But you know what? I'm not surprised, because
You ain't surprised.
this, Florida being Florida.
Yeah.
Florida being Florida. If you from Florida, what you got to say? Florida being Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, at some point y'all got to get together, man. Come on, get it together, Florida. This is
Get
what
a
y'all.
backbone.
This is what y'all want, right? This is what y'all voted in. This is what y'all want. And y'all
And
want
when
them.
do they vote again? Get him out.
I don't know. Y'all want to go against Mickey Mouse and Disneyland? Y'all don't like the Magic Kingdom? Y'all don't like that?
Animal Kingdom.
Y'all don't like that?
Epcot.
Y'all won the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. Y'all ain't happy.
Look, y'all getting Tom
Miami
Brady
Heat.
back.
Y'all
Tom
got.
came
I know
back
y'all
out
got
of
real sore. Y'all
retirement.
got whooped up by Atlanta. But I'm saying Florida being Florida.
I ain't no Falcons fan.
I'm just saying. No, I'm talking about the Hawks.
Oh, Miami.
Yeah, we probably won't win the series, but they put some respect on their name. They put some respect on Atlanta name because they just thought they were gonna come in here and sweep. Nope.
You better keep Trey healthy.
Yeah. Well, that's what the injuries been killing everybody. Got to be injuries been killing everybody. This year, but, all right, let's get into this topic real quick.
Yes.
We're going to start off talking, man. We're going to share with you guys a video.
And this is a topic I like, ladies.
Yeah, so break down. See if you agree, disagree. We'll see. So let me share my screen with you guys so you can see what Dr. V and I
will be discussing.
All right, so let's listen to this and check this out.
That men have 4 different appetites that you have to.
Let me go back.
I remember my grandfather telling me, God rest his soul, before he passed away, that men have 4 different appetites that you have to tend to. He said, men are not complicated. He said, I'm just going to break it down to you. He told me, he said, men have a physical appetite, a visual appetite, a sexual appetite, and an emotional appetite. And for a minute, I really didn't understand it when I was younger, but as I got older, it really started to click. It always stayed with me. He said, physically, you need to make sure that you know how to cook. And if you don't know how to cook, then find out how to cook. And if you can't, then at least have a meal on the stove or in the stove by the time he gets there, that's warm, especially if that man is taking care of the household. He said, it don't take a lot of work. He said, it don't. And I watched my grandmother do it. I watched her do it, so I know that I'm capable. He said, a visual appetite. He said, keep yourself up. He said, if you're the only woman that this man is going to be with, at least keep yourself up. He said, because men still need to be stimulated visually, so that way they can crave you. He said, and he said, love will still be there. He said, and although your looks will fade, you the one woman that he wants to look at. Give him something, excite him, make him imagine something, tease him, right? And then there's a sexual. My grandfather told me, he said that, yes, visually you can stimulate a man. He said, but don't forget that men are sexual in nature. He said, and so they're going to want to do what they want to do to their woman. You're the only woman that he's sleeping with. You're the only woman that he desired. Take some time out of y'all day. He said, look, if y'all got to share the responsibilities, share the responsibilities. You both do things in the house so that way when the kids are down, y'all both can bathe and oil each other down and do what y'all need to do. He said, that's going to help y'all connect. And then last one, he said, men do have an emotional appetite. He said, all men want to feel is appreciated, understood, heard. That's it. He said, just listen to him. You don't got to talk much. Just listen. He always told me that men are not that complicated. He's absolutely right.
All right, Dr. B. What's your first thoughts?
What's the first one we want to hit first? What was the first thing she said her granddaddy told her?
Her granddaddy told her.
See, we need to have more seasoned men and women teaching us, that men aren't complicated. And also, if we could find a clip on how, for women, even though y'all say we so complicated, we really aren't that complicated, but we're going to stay on topic. But we need more people teaching us like her grandfather taught her. So the first thing we want to talk about is the physical.
That means feed me. That means click them pots together, Dr. B. Get in that kitchen.
I have no problem with that.
Get in that kitchen, Dr. B.
I have no problem with that. That's how I was raised. Get in that kitchen, make sure that he has a meal when he comes through that door. Have it ready for him. It shouldn't be that it's getting ready. Some of you have children. We can even talk about that. Go ahead and feed them. Get them out the way. But so, feed them. So when your husband come home, the food is there. Unless you like to sit together as a family, that's fine too. But you got to know how to cook. And like she said, Granny said, even if you don't know how to cook, have something going. If you had to run the church's chicken and do something, throw it in the pot and stir it up and put it on the plate, you need to do that.
Dr. B, what I'm speaking devil accent. What about the women who say, I work just like he do?
Then, just like she said, her grandfather told her that if there's both people working, then y'all come together with a plan. Maybe you cook on Monday, I cook on Tuesday, vice versa, but I was taught that that's the role that I'm supposed to play.
But what if you a boss? Excuse my language, a boss?
Well, boss be, if you got money, then you can hire somebody to cook.
So you can hire somebody to cook or hire your chef?
And have somebody have it delivered or cook for you.
What if he ain't worth it, Dr. B? What if he ain't pulling up his ends?
You're not supposed to worry about that. You married him.
You married him? Y'all hear Dr. B? Dr. B saying this, y'all. Come on, what y'all got to say? So irregardless of what your husband is doing, your
Mhm.
responsibility, you feel like, is
Mhm.
that meal.
That meal needs to be
feeding your
prepared.
family
Yes, that's
physically.
right, because he's still the head of the household.
Okay, say it
I
one more
don't think
time.
he's still head of the household. I don't care if you pulling in the dollars, he's still head of the household.
Y'all heard that, ladies?
Okay. So you could be boss all day long. You ain't getting out there doing no oil change. You ain't going to cut no grass. You ain't even got the strength of a man. So let him be the head of that household. You know, I think we discussed this last time that we got to know our place. I know you got a hat on at work. You CEO, CFO, you doing it. But when you come home and pull up in your driveway, baby, you are his wife.
I hear all the single ladies, all the single ladies,
No.
all the single ladies, all the single ladies in the
ladies,
background giving you the side eye, Dr.
Single
B.
ladies,
They said they
you
can
don't
do
wanna-
bad by themselves, Dr. B. They
No.
don't need no man for
Trust me,
nothing. I
that's
ain't gonna
mouth
cook for
talking.
no man.
That's mouth talking. When the doors are closed and lights are out, and you in the house, it's just you and that wall and them cats or them dogs. You want to have some company.
All right.
And I'm not talking about these fly by nights.
All right. So you want my take on Dr. B?
Yeah, go ahead, boo. I thought you gave your take on.
No. I was just providing
Go ahead.
antagonism for you, Dr. B. I agree that, typically in our culture,
Mhm.
women have been the ones who been more the provider of the nourishment of the food,
Right.
even in modern day times. And I'm not saying men don't cook and men can't cook,
Right.
but I think typically, traditionally, that's been a role that women have
Mhm.
adopted and run with it and done great by.
Right.
Big mama, we always want a good plate from Big Mama. We talk about granddaddy cooking, and
Right.
not saying that granddaddy couldn't cook or he didn't have his specialties, but it was typically a woman who we love going to her house for Thanksgiving, for Christmas dinners,
Right.
eating that good soul food.
Right,
And with soul
definitely.
food, it was Big Mama who was making that soul
Making
food.
it on Sundays. Yes,
So
she is.
that was an important thing for us. That was an
Family
important thing for
time.
our culture. And I think, a lot of people lost that.
Mhm.
Things have changed, so we know Big Mamas ain't the Big Mamas no more, like they used to be. These Big Mamas out in the streets. Big Mamas belong to the streets now, so it's not the same
That's
thing.
Pete talking. I ain't saying.
Well, I'm just saying, Dr. B, these Big Mamas belong to the streets. It ain't the same Big Mama from when you and I was growing up.
No, it's not.
It's not. But again, in the terms of relationship, food is important. Because it's for men, and people. It's an old saying: the best way to a man's heart is through his stomach, is to feed him. Because then I don't think people. Again, I think we mentioned this before in another podcast, but food and breaking bread with people is an intimate thing. It's a way to connect to people because it's the way that you show love, and it's the way that men receive love.
Okay.
So men receive love like, oh, if she cooks for me, that means she takes her time and energy or puts love into it. We see that and we receive that as love, and we're like, oh, okay, I like that.
Okay.
So, for the ladies out there, even if you don't know how to cook, I'm not saying you got to cook every day, you got to be Betty Crocker, you got to be any of this. But what I'm saying from a man's perspective, food is how we receive love from the people. It's how we grew up. It's how my grandmother, anything that if you come back from an old school family or from family from the South, one thing that you could always count on if you go into your grandmother's house or aunt's house or, family's house is they will feed you.
Yes.
They will feed you. They will sometimes stop what they're doing and fix you something to eat, or if they, you could count on food and that's how they showed their love. They didn't turn people away. They fed all kinds of people.
Everybody.
Right. So they fed you.
Gonna make sure they had enough food.
Right.
But anybody who works to stop.
So it's the love language from them. That's how, Big Mama and them and our aunts and stuff, that's how they showed love for us and for their family and their kids. And you could feel
house and there's gonna be some food on that
There's
stove.
gonna be food. So that's how they show love. So ladies, that's the important thing. Again, I'm not saying you gotta be Betty Crocker and you got to have the 7-point meal plan and all that, but I'm just saying, listen, that's how men receive love. Again, even if you ain't got to do it yourself, or even if you just prepared or just the thought of it,
Exactly.
putting it together and the
Exactly.
putting it with love
Mm-hmm.
is how men receive love.
Exactly.
So I can't knock the
Exactly.
sister from that. So
Mm-mm.
again, if you're really trying to lock somebody down,
Mm-hmm.
show that
And-
man some love through that food.
But Mr. P, you said it. If you don't know how to cook, you go to YouTube. It's how to cook, how to do recipes. Start off doing that first.
Yeah, and
you
I'm
know?
not trying to be sexist or nothing like that, but I'm saying that's how men receive love. That's how I receive love.
Mhm.
You know, that's how I receive love.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
know,
Not hard
Right.
at all. Very simple.
I'm just
Very
saying, ladies,
simple.
if you don't care, you can be bad by yourself. Hey, do you, boo?
Do you?
But if you want to lock somebody down, or if you want somebody looking for you long term,
That's
and
right.
again, it's for men, even if it ain't the greatest, it's the point, it's the effort that you took that shows us
Exactly.
what demonstrates for men
Exactly.
that she's a keeper, because that's important. Even if you're the one who be like, look, I made us a reservation for here, such and such, and this and that, or we want to do that, or even,
Mhm.
again, it just shows us men,
Mhm.
the way our minds work, that okay, she trying to feed me. She trying,
Yeah.
okay, she trying
She
to keep
take
me.
care
Yeah.
of me.
Right. So it
Yeah.
sounds simple. I'm saying, ladies,
She's
it's simple.
nurturing me.
She's nurturing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, just keep it simple.
She's
So
trying to make sure
I-
I'm not out here hungry. She's trying to make sure I'm taken care of.
yeah, so
it signals a lot of
yeah,
things.
I can't knock the hustle. That's a cheat
Granddaddy
code,
told
ladies.
him.
That's
Okay.
a cheat code.
What's the next?
Next one is visual.
Let me let you talk on that first.
Okay, well,
I went first on those.
yeah, but we're
ahead.
visual, and then we're visual. We're visual creatures. The first thing that catches our attention is the what we see.
Mm-hmm.
We like what we see.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So again, I get it. The life happens. Even for men, and women are visual. Not saying women are not visual, but men, we're visual. So it's a hard thing to see, what look one way is not looking the same depending on the situation. Again, a mature man and a self-aware man knows that women's bodies go through changes.
Yeah.
We're not talking about somebody who think a build a body is it, or you got to do all that. No. If somebody loves you, he's going to go through the changes with you because he's making the changes as well. But again, something as simple as keeping your hair did. Keeping a fresh face.
Yeah.
It ain't even about it ain't really about size most of the time. It's just
Mm-mm.
keeping yourself
Together.
Putting
it together.
there's effort in
Yeah.
you want to look good. So
Yes.
for me and for many men, again, it's my wife is stunning. She does that. She put herself
She is
together.
beautiful.
Right. So, he gonna see you in all your rarest forms. He gonna see you clean out the shower. He gonna see you sick. He gonna see you
Mm-hmm.
in your best moods and not your
Mhm.
best moods. But if there's a consistency about how you carry yourself and how you keep yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gonna be proud of that. No
Yeah.
man wants to nobody a wife or the wife looking like a slob or if you want somebody, you want her looking good.
Yeah.
You want her looking good. So you
Wow.
take her in any kind of place. And so
Any type of setting.
yeah, so I get it. People, you become mothers, you don't have much time and energy or effort. I get that. But even if y'all have to collaborate, and as the young lady said, y'all got to come up with a plan to give you the time and space to do that. And men, you got to give her that. If she needs to go get her, her facial or get her hair done or her nails or whatever her maintenance is, and she got to buy all that, hey, she got to do that. That's part of the upkeep. That's part of the budget. So,
That's
you
right.
can't complain about it. You can't make a notion about it. If you met her that way and that's what she does to maintain herself, that's
And
a
you
part
like
of it.
it, pay for it, baby.
Yeah, that's it. That's a part of it.
That's right.
So, I ain't saying just making some scallywag off the street and then,
No,
how you getting her a
This
unit.
Is someone you're serious
No, this is
about.
your wife. This
Yeah.
is someone that you're invested in her happiness and her
Mhm.
upkeep.
That's right.
That's part of it.
That's right.
So just like you go to the barbershop and get it fresh, she got to do that too. So,
Mhm. Exactly.
but again, you don't want, if she just falls off, it's a detriment to y'all relationship. It changes the dynamics of it. And again, you have to help her work through that stuff. And again, because postpartum is real, life happens. So
yeah.
you got to be there to prop her up and, give her the space and the encouragement to do those things that make her feel better about herself.
Yes.
If she wants to go to the gym, you got to watch the kids. That might be
Let
day
her
that
do
you got to
what
do
she-
dinner. Or you got to figure out dinner
Yeah. Mhm.
so that she can go do that because
Exactly.
hey, you like it when she looking right. So that's a part of it.
That's
You know,
right.
it ain't just hands off. That's all her responsibility,
That's
and you don't do
right.
nothing because you want her to look good for you, but you got to support that at the same time. So that's
Exactly.
just my 2 cents on it. But absolutely, young lady is right about that.
Exactly. And the visual, ladies, I think Pete, stated a lot. We have to make sure that we are maintaining. Brush your teeth, wash your face, comb your hair. If you don't have no hair, get some weave, get a wig.
Don't get no weed.
There, you can.
Get you some locks or something.
Don't do that. But you can do those things.
All natural. Shout
No.
out Team Natural.
Team Natural. Yeah, it's natural up under the wig. How about that? Okay.
It's a natural wig.
But we have to make sure that we're not around here looking like who shot the bear. With your hair standing on your head, looking like buckwheat. And it's cool, fine if you want to rock the natural because natural is beautiful. But for some of us, we feel that we don't want to rock the natural. I don't rock my natural. So I try to make sure that I have my wigs. I make sure even my weaves. Anything that I want to do to make sure that I'm looking good and I'm looking pleasant for whomever I'm dating or going out seeing. So let me put that out there before I have a conversation later on when they watch this.
Somebody gonna get in trouble.
Trouble. So I make sure, and even I remember he even told me one time. He says, "I want to see you without makeup," so I didn't wear makeup, and he liked it. But for me, I try to I do both. I interchange.
That was a test, Dr. B. He's trying to see if he's a transformer.
So I know I look good without makeup. I had no problems with that. But for me, when I'm around them, I like to put my makeup on. I like to, spruce myself because it gives some confidence sometimes about yourself and the inner being. Because, a lot of times women, when we are down or something, sometimes if we put lipstick on, we spruce up. You do your makeup, you spruce up. It's just something about beautifying yourself that should make you feel good from the inside out. Okay. Don't be trying to do this because you feel that the makeup will get you somebody. No, that comes from the inner being. And everything else is just an added part to your beautification. Okay. So visual, I meant to say, yes, I feel that you need to look pleasant for him so that, because you're going outside and when you and him step out, when they look, they need to say, that's a bad girl right there. I like how she flows. I like the confidence that the energy that she gives. He's gonna be smiling because he got the best thing smoking. Can't nobody touch who's on his arm, who he's walking in the door with, because all eyes are gonna be on you. And you want him to, put that smile on his face. And when he's talking to his friends, talking about, no, man, I got the baddest. That when you should see how she do her hair, the cut, the makeup, how she puts it on, she don't overdo it, So men, they all about that visual. They are. And so we have to, and I'm happy P made the statement that you ain't got to be skinny. No more about visual, because it's your confidence that will draw anybody to you, baby. All right.
Yeah, as long as your man like it, you keep stick with it. And so
that's right.
Shout out.
All right. I look good.
Here go. Well, okay. This is the number 3, Dr. V. Sexual. Nobody won't talk about that.
I can't talk too much. I'm gonna let you talk. No. I can, and come on, go ahead.
No, I'm talking about in the confines of marriage.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. You can talk about that. Go ahead.
Well, what's really to talk about, Dr. D? You got to, it's an important part. You got to put it down, both y'all.
And I like the fact that her grandfather told her that, put the kids to sleep, put them to bed. And, I can't talk about it for a minute for scriptural. I remember Sharita Jakes talked about this, how to keep your husband happy. And what she did, when he would be out Bishop Jakes would be out on the road preaching and she knew he was coming home, she would make sure all the kids were taken care of, that she didn't have the wear of the day on her when he walked in, that she went and spruced herself up, put some smell good on, made sure that she was presentable. So when he came in, it was time. You know what I'm saying? It was time. You can't let him come in the house and you still wearing the day on with the kids. You got ink here and you got food here from where you done fed the baby, different things in the house dirty. You got to make sure everything is set in place. And I like that set so you can bathe in the shower, bathe one another, do what you got to do.
I think a lot of times in relationships and then long-term relationships, that burden is put on the men because I think women kind of see it as meeting the man's needs and not meeting theirs. Right, yeah. Meeting theirs is as much. And it takes a toll sometimes on relationships because, again, like you mentioned, there's the burdens of the child rearing that a lot of times fall on the woman.
Right.
And as men, we got to make sure that, we're supporting her or doing our part, if not more, so that, again, she can have the space to feel sexy.
Yeah.
To want to do that.
Yes.
So, take away some of those burdens. So that's our responsibility. But again, I think that's what sometimes happens that in relationships and long-term relationships, because men, we're typically the most sexually driven ones. A lot of times sex is really important to us in relationships. And we're the ones probably asking for it the majority of the time. If I did a poll, it would probably be more men than women. Sometimes it's flipped. Sometimes the woman is not getting as much as she wants. But I think that burden falls on the men a lot. And then maybe women see it as more of a chore instead of meeting their needs as well. Yeah. So that's a touchy subject. And I've had some conversations with people who were married for 20 or something. This older gentleman, I was having a conversation with him, and he's been married 4 times. But anyway, he was married one time for 20 years, and he said something happened, and he didn't recognize it about postpartum depression and stuff like that. And he called it affection, just dropped, and it just went away. I'm sorry. And that was basically ultimately what's led to the breakup of their relationship, that they couldn't get past it.
Okay.
And so, something like that can have an impact on your relationship, even though we know most of the time people get divorced for financial reasons, but that intimacy and that connection, as the young lady said, that's how you connect.
Yeah,
that's again,
because you're one.
Yeah, that's how you connect. So there's got to be a space to have conversations about that, and it has to be important to both parties. It can't just be one person's burden. It has to be the responsibility of both parties, because if it becomes one person's thing, eventually it'll lead to burnout, and then it won't be happening at all.
And then that's the closest that you'll be with your husband and your wife, that intimate. That's the closest that you could be to them, not side by side. If y'all get the visual, okay, get the visual.
Yeah, and then sometimes I think we do fall off the wagon and not being as romantic as we was before, and not putting the energy and effort. And so that's on us. So we got to make sure that we do that as well. So
definitely. So that for you married men and women, get it together, baby.
Yeah.
Spruce yourself up. He needs to take care of you, nurture you, get you all the things that you need to beautify yourself for him. And I think that when women see that men are taking an effort in that, you can get whatever you want. You doing what you're supposed to do, you get whatever you want, and how much you want of it.
Hopefully. Hopefully. That's going to be a conversation that we're going to have. We're going to have when we bring in these married couples.
Yes.
People who've been in a long-term relationships.
Yes.
How you manage through that and how you do that. Because again, we know things change throughout the relationship.
Yes.
When you get together and you don't have responsibility or kids or all those outside influences, you have a lot more space and opportunity for that.
Exactly.
And then when life happens, you've got to really work through that and manage through that. And can be a challenge. That can really be a challenge for a lot of folks. But I agree with the young lady. Again, that is something for men. And again, and I really think it's something for women too, but I don't know if it's just our cultural of it, and how women are supposed to be prim and proper and above reproach and virgins and all that stuff. I don't know.
But no, the scripture says his body is her body and her body is his body. So let's keep that moving. No, so we're not supposed to be rejecting each other's body.
Okay, y'all heard that?
When they want it, yes.
That's within the realm of marriage.
That's within the realm of
That
marriage.
y'all single folks.
Okay, not single, not fornication.
I know y'all doing what y'all doing, but I'm just saying. Y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do. No, I'm just saying, y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do. That ain't never that's gonna happen. That's been happening since the beginning of time. Y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do.
Exactly.
So you know, y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So
I
we're
ain't mad
talking
at you.
about marriage.
All right, and here's a big one: emotional.
Ooh, go ahead.
Yeah, because men got emotions. We're just not led by emotions a lot of time,
Mhm.
and we don't make ourselves vulnerable to emotion with everyone. And I say majority of people. There's one person who we want to be with and feel like we should be able to be emotional with is
Mhm.
our wife or our woman,
Mhm.
so our spouse. So
Mhm.
and in many cases, what the fear of men and what happens to men is that same emotion gets turned back against us.
Mhm.
And so that's why men are so guarded about being emotional or revealing their emotional side, because it gets turned against them. It,
Right.
Like they get viewed as weakness, or they get, take that emotion and get turned against you and use that weaponized against you. And so women got to own that. I'm gonna put that on y'all women. Y'all women, when a man is emotional with you, a lot of times, even if not your intent, what you do is you turn that emotion and you turn it against him and use it as a weapon against him when you're not supposed to, but they do, Dr. V. They do. They use they use men's emotion as a weapon against, and other men do it too, but we're saying in the terms of this relationship, women use that and weaponize that against him. When things go bad, or if they trying to cut deep or hurt his feelings. So that's why a lot of times men are not, they guard their emotions. They keep it to themselves. So, I mean.
And another thing, women need to shut up and let the men talk.
That's a hard one for y'all.
Because sometimes, no.
Yes, it is. That's hard for y'all.
Because sometimes you just need to let him talk. We're always, I know, as we are the most communicators, we're the one who want to talk the most. Sometimes just let him talk and just listen. You know what I'm saying? And you want to know why he can use certain things against you, because you over talk. You give too much info. And so he's sitting there, oh, you were hurt that many times. Oh, okay, then. And so instead of you saying, okay, I done gave enough, let me listen to him. How was his day? Let me see what I could have done. And if he tells you this person, oh yeah, babe, they were dead wrong. I got your back. Just by listening, supporting him, letting him know that you're on his side, letting him know that you understand. That emotional support is everything. Everything. I love wanting to know what's going on in his day. I want to hear it. So I'm the call that you make when you need some advice, or you just to vent, just to let it out, and don't use it against them. Don't use that vulnerability thinking that's their weakness, because it's not. They're letting you know because they're letting you into their world.
They ain't listening, Dr. V. I'm calling y'all women out. I'm
calling
y'all women out because y'all don't listen. Y'all don't listen. Y'all don't listen. And then again, you're not engaged. So women, they're not engaged. When men is emotional or vulnerable, a lot of times they're not engaged because that's not what they're used to. They're not used to the men. There's this notion that men have to be manly. You got to be a man's man. Everybody's throwing around this alpha male term. You got to be an alpha male. You're a beta. You got to do this and that and that. And then, I mean, it's
you want
labelized. Well,
it's
labelized and stuff like that.
You need to know he's human. Well, you need to know that things hurt him too. It's just not always you being hurt. He got some feelings that he needs you to listen to and nurture and mend, and be able to pray for.
I think that's a big thing. So I think that emotional. I think women are always talking about men not being emotionally available, but I think they are the reason why men are not emotionally available.
Exactly.
Whether it's them raising their boys to be emotionless, or whether them turning those emotions against the person that they were with. So when you say men are not emotionally available, what part did you play? I'm not saying maybe not this particular man, but in the past, what part did you play in using a man's emotions against him? So, that's a big thing with women. He's emotionally available. I need somebody emotionally available. What part did you play in the history?
Exactly.
your women always throwing around somebody hurt or he's hurt. You sound hurt. You sound hurt. Of course, men out there hurting. Men are hurt, but you weaponize it. It's okay when women are hurt, but men can't be hurt, and it can't affect who they are. So I'm like, you can't have it both ways. You want him emotionally available, or you want him not to be emotional.
Just listen.
You see what I'm saying? So it has to be a balance. Again, I'm not saying everybody should be a
But he's letting his
crybaby.
guard down when he feels comfortable. When he starts showing you that emotional side, that means he's getting comfortable with you.
But I promise you,
know?
too many men have been that's backfired against them.
It's sad.
If shout out if anybody listening, give us a comment and feedback if you've had some experience around that, if you know that experience to be true. That a lot of men have, when they've been emotionally available, they felt like that's been used to turned against them and weaponized against them. So they've learned through behavior, through interactions, from a small child until adulthood, men can't be emotional because again, it uses against you.
Right.
So, how are we training our boys in relationships? Are we telling them to, be dependent on their spouses for emotional support?
Right.
How are we doing that? Are we, we don't want them to be wusses. We don't want them to be soft. I don't know. What are we teaching the boys? That comes out in the relationships. What are the mothers, how they, interacting with their kids and their son. And then fathers, we're part of that too. We want our boys to be tough. We want them to.
But we need them to also
in.
not to hold all that built up emotions and tensions inside, and they have to be able to speak to someone. And in the video, she said our grandfather said that's all they want. Listen.
Yeah.
Listen. That's it. Don't use it as a weapon. Use it as an opportunity. Oh, I see what I'm needed in his life. I see my purpose in his life, to add, to be there for your support and just to listen.
Yeah. I mean, men want outlets.
Yeah.
And when you have an outlet who is your spouse, your homie, your lover, your friend, you can outlet and it's not weaponized or used against you.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be your true, authentic self all the time with that person. That's that's something that you're looking for.
Exactly.
So, y'all hard out here, ladies. Ladies, y'all hard. Y'all hard
better
out
stop
here.
be hard, or
I'm
y'all
just
gonna be a
saying,
part
like-
of the singles committee.
Well, they
And
already.
trust me, nobody don't wanna be a
ladies out
part
here
of that.
hard. I ain't in
You
the
don't want to
dating
be a
field.
part of that.
I just see it from reading interactions. Y'all hard out here.
Yeah.
Y'all hard. So I don't know, Dr. B.
Yeah.
Y'all single folks, y'all got to get together.
Yeah. They got to get it together. I ain't
Get it
getting ready-
together,
I ain't
single
I ain't in that pack.
You ain't in that pack. You saw somebody can cry on your shoulder.
Yes.
He can come cry on your shoulder.
Yes. Any day.
Okay. All right. Don't record it. She gonna put you on social media. Don't put it on them. They gonna put you on social media. They good for blasting.
No, I don't
blasting
you
the
know
brother
my
on-
stuff is not
I know
nowhere
you're
on
not.
it.
I know you're not. I'm just saying these women good for putting you on blast on social media, bro. I'm telling you. You pour your soul out to her in the messenger, it's gonna show up on her timeline. Look at this softy. Look at this fool. Then her girl be like, girl, look.
Y'all better learn how to keep your mouth closed
I'm
on your
just saying,
relationships.
What part you play in it? We all
Keep
play
your
a part
mouth
in it.
closed. Don't tell no other woman about how emotion and the issues that your husband or your boyfriend has given you. That's a hush hush. Keep your mouth closed. That's words of wisdom. Okay.
We'll see if they do that. So I don't know. Put that together. And if she believes and support that physical, visual, sexual, and emotional, I think that's a good list.
Yes, it is.
I think I agree overall that if you can touch a man in all those four ways, and again, it doesn't speak to any specifics because there are specific ways that each person wants. So making his lunch might be enough of the physical feeding, nurturing for your person. So it doesn't have to, it's not the same for everyone, but it is important. Visually, what men like is subjective. So one person might like you less makeup. One person may like the whole thing.
Right.
So it's all subjective, but overall, the specifics change from person to person. So I think overall what she says was absolutely correct. I agree with it. If you guys can connect on all four of those, physical, visual, sexual, and emotional, y'all got a winning recipe.
Yes, you do.
And you hear, and interesting that we didn't even say anything about finances. We didn't say anything about finances. We didn't talk
Because
about
when he's
that.
appreciated, he gonna bring them finances
We didn't
right
even
on
talk
in the
about
door. He
that.
gonna make sure everything is supplied for.
Right. And again, we're not saying you got to connect with every Tom, Dick, and Hank that you meet.
Mhm.
But when you find somebody that you guys can align across the boards, and you can see the alignment
Mhm.
and the mutual
Mhm.
want to and respect is there.
Yes.
I don't know. These seem like some keeper stuff.
Yes.
I know if a man, if he sees all four of these in you, you're a keeper.
Keeper.
I don't know what y'all ladies need to see a keeper, but
I don't know what they're looking for.
I don't know. They waiting for that baller. Cause
That baller, they ain't gonna spend no
baller.
time with him. Gonna
Shoot,
treat him
that
any kind of
baller.
way. Gonna be a trophy wife, trophy girlfriend. Won't get the respect that you deemed necessary to have a fruitful and successful relationship. So listen to them four things there.
Yeah, because again, that baller, I don't know. He gonna buy his own meal. He got his personal chef.
Mm-hmm.
Visually, he probably seen it all. He's seen all shapes and types and styles,
Mm-hmm.
and he has access to them. They waiting for him
Yes.
at the restaurant for him to show up with the posse.
And we saw that.
Sexually, he probably getting that
Mm-hmm.
across the board. Same
Exactly.
thing.
Same
He's getting
thing.
that, but it's the emotional part that he's probably not getting because for you, he know it's transactional.
Yeah.
He know it's transactional. So
Because in
again,
his mind, what she want from me.
yeah, she want that money. It's
Mhm.
transactional.
Mm-hmm.
She showed up without even knowing who I am, what type of person I am.
Exactly.
So it's
Exactly.
transactional. So
Mhm.
again, I don't know, ladies. That's a good list. If you disagree, if you think this is BS, that young lady is so far off center,
Mm-hmm.
let us know.
Exactly.
We'll bring you on and let you rebut. Drop a video with your rebuttal, letting us know,
Mm-hmm.
what you think about it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the young lady is brilliant. Her grandfather was brilliant.
Yes.
And y'all single folks, men and women, y'all need to get together.
That's right.
Dr. B, what you guys say?
That's it. Only thing I, just make sure that, that you're ready for relationship. Let's put that out there too. Don't get into relationship if you got baggage. If you're not ready, don't get into the field. That's the only thing that I have to say because I've been injecting my spiritual corner throughout the podcast tonight. So
to your and you know who you are. To your own self, be true. You can't
Mhm.
lie to yourself.
Mm-mm.
You can lie to everybody else and say you're ready and do all that, but to thine own self, be true.
Yes.
Don't lie to yourself. If you
Yes.
know you still dealing with some stuff, some insecurity, why even set yourself up?
Don't do that.
And don't just not be on the sidelines, not doing the work.
Mhm.
Do the work.
Do the work.
Go through the process.
Mhm.
Come on, man.
That's right.
Be an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Be grown. All right, well, what is it? Share, subscribe,
Like, share, subscribe.
all that good stuff. I feel like I'm pandering, but do what y'all got to do.
Do what you got to
Share
do.
this video
Mhm.
with everyone, somebody you know. Say, look at these people, they so full of it. Or like, hey, they might say something that makes sense every
Yeah.
now and then. But
Yeah.
either way, do what you do. Again, we're going to give a $25 gift card, gas card,
Yes.
from my subscribers. If you're on YouTube and you subscribe, we're going to drop your name in the hat
Mhm.
and pull that, and we're going to give you a $25 gas card. So so you
Yeah.
can get to work for 2 days.
At least.
I'm in there for 2 days. I can't promise you. I get you that Monday, Tuesday. You
Yeah.
can get there the rest of the week. So go ahead and do that. And once we'll drop a date and time when we get enough people on board. So one
All
person
right.
ain't gonna be enough. All y'all do it. But thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you
We
for
love
listening.
you.
Love you. Shout out to the Natural Lady one more time.
Yes.
And go Hawks.